transformers. You transform the alternating current to a constant current. So you see the positive is this one and the negative is this one. So will happen in charge that the electrons goes here and ions are removed and go into the graphite. Then when telephone is charged, you remove it from the charging, from the plug-in, and then you see now the current goes in this direction, because what will happen now that the lithium ion will leave graphite now and go back into cobalt oxide, releasing electrons and operating your telephone here. I think they have some animation here. You see that in charge, the electrons, lithium ions, go away from lithium cobalt oxide and get into graphite. You have seen that, this is charge. This charge is just the opposite. You see that the lithium ion are solvated here, but they get inside with no solvation. This is very important. Okay, now let's see why lithium batteries are so important. You see, this is a typical diagram of in which we report the properties of the battery. Here we have the energy density, and here the specific density. So we move in this direction, and the battery becomes increasingly smaller. We move in this direction, and the battery becomes increasingly lighter. Remember that the ideal battery is here. Why ideal? Because, of course, we are thinking to use lithium batteries for consumer electronics. Then, of course, we like to have the battery the smallest as possible and the lightest as possible. We want that our telephone is small and doesn't weigh too much. And you see that conventional batteries lies just in the opposite corner. And in fact, lead acid and nickel cadmium are very heavy and very bulky. Nickel metal hydride is a bit better, but not that better. While lithium battery, expand along all this area. Because depending on the structure and the chemistry and the formulation, we can have increase the energy density. So the first lithium batteries had about, let's say, 100 watt-hour per kilo, 120 watt-hour per kilogram in terms of weight. And now you can have battery about 200 watt-hour per kilogram. Because the first battery, for instance, use a very heavy case, metal case. Now the metal case has been, stainless case has been, the initial lithium battery used a stainless steel case, very heavy. Now this stainless steel has been replaced by aluminum. So the weight has been decreased consistently. And you see that, in fact, these energy density improves. So we have now very high energy density system. What happens? Oops. Okay. And you see that this makes lithium batteries very popular. They are the power source of choices for a series of very popular electronic devices, which are, of course, the cellular phones, notebook, MP3s, laptops, and others. And you see that we are having here a very fast-growing market. In the year 2000, this was the amount of batteries, say. In the year 2015, we are about to over almost 1.5 billions of cells, an enormous amount. And you see that for the case, no, sorry, let me take again. The year 2000, the number of batteries sold for the cellular phones were about 400, okay, millions. Now, in the year 2010, now we have a sale of 100 million cells. So this is 15 billions of cells. It's an enormous amount. And the market is already is also considered to increase. It's interesting because when the lithium battery first start, the most of them were produced in Japan. And in fact, the production in Japan at a peak in the year 2000. Then other countries came, China and your country, which now are becoming leaders in the market. So you have a good opportunity to work. However, we have to consider that this market, which is related to the electronic, is the most powerful now. But the future of the lithium battery, the commercial future, is still open because there are other markets which come along. So we will have, for instance, the necessity of the use of lithium batteries in renewable energy plants. You know that it is now is very important to move in our energy production from oil plants, which are very expensive, very polluting, and also politically limited, to some green, clean and renewable energy. And this can be sun or maybe wind, okay? And there we need some system to storage energy because the sun doesn't shine always, okay? And the wind doesn't blow always. And these lithium batteries can be very useful for this. Why? Because they have a very good energy efficiency. Okay? So even if the cost of, sometimes there is this question, at the moment for this type of application, people are using the lead acid batteries, okay? Conventional one. Now the cost of this battery is $100 for kilowatts. The cost of lithium maybe is 500, maybe something more, but let's say $500 for kilowatt hours. So people say, well, I mean, if lithium lead acid battery is much cheaper than lithium, why we should use lithium? Well, because if the energy efficiency of lithium is 10 times that of lead acid, that means that the price is competitive. Clear, huh? But also a very important market now is that one associated with the sustainable vehicles. Now, the major trend in our society is to replace gasoline-powered automobile with electric automobile, or at least hybrid automobiles. Why this? Because the oil costs a lot, is polluting, and so it's better to remove, to go to something alternatives. And in addition, the electric engine is much more efficient than the combustion engine. Maybe even the double. And an electric car is, in addition to be to have no emissions, or at least control emissions, is not only much more efficient, but also much more silent and responding of the combustion engine. In fact, the first automobile to be built at the beginning of the last century were electric, because this makes sense. But then about 1910, 1912, oil started to come over, and the cost was very low, so all the cars changed from electric to combustion. But now the oil is very expensive, very polluted, so we want to go back. And we need something to power this stuff. So for instance, as I was saying, if we have sun or wind, these are not continuous energy sources. Now we have some way of saving energy, store energy, while the sun is shining or the wind is blowing, in order to give it back when this does not happen anymore. And there are many ways of storing energy. They can be maybe water, so we can pump water from down up, and have water going down, and you produce energy, and some others, but batteries are the best. Why? Because you can have a battery, you can easily move it from one place to the other, you can shape the battery in different shapes just to fit the container and so forth. And as I say, the pollution is a concern in most cities, especially